This time we'll learn about number 3, text experience. In this stage, students can be engaged in re-engagement and reflection with the selected materials. Students read, listen to, or view the text again experientially to re-engage with the text. They can reflect on their own experience and try to work out what was happening in their mind. So this process is very mental process. The students can try to represent in their mind what was happening in the text, or sometimes they can think about some happenings which is related to the text material. So teachers can design activities that help their students achieve similar engagement and consider the value of affective and cognitive engagement. Text experience can involve the students experiencing affective and cognitive engagement. This means that the teacher can ask the students about their feelings and their emotions and their opinions or their ideas or thoughts related to the text topic. And number 4, and this stage is readiness activities. This is about schema activation and mental visualization activities. Actually, number 3 and number 4 cannot be separated very clearly. Partially, I think these two processes overlap. In the stage 4, teachers can get the learners ready for the text experience by stimulating mental activity relevant to the content of the text, by activating connection, by arousing attention, by generating relevant visual images, and by getting them to use inner speech to discuss with themselves. So the teachers can use appropriate questions which require their students to visualize or make some mental image within themselves, which are related to the content and the topic of the text. This is a process of schema activation. In this stage, the learners can open and activate their minds instead of answering questions correctly. So the teacher need not give any questions that have any correct or limited answers to their students. And teachers can get their students to recollect, connect, reflect, and think by asking them to visualize. Sometimes they also can to draw and or think about connections, or they can also express through miming, and teachers can also ask them articulate their views or recount episodes from their lives or share their knowledge or ideas to make predictions with other students. For example, if the text is about an embarrassing moment, which can be about any short stories or any novel or fairy tale, they can be asked to visualize their own embarrassing moments. So the teacher can ask their students just to express their small episodes or their experiences that have made them very, very embarrassed in schools or in friend relationships or sometimes at home. Number 5, experiential activities. This stage is having students guess or inference something. Experiential activities are designed to help the learners to experience the text rather than study it. This stage is not also about studying or learning any knowledge. So represent the text in their minds as they read it or listen to it, which facilitate their personal engagement. The numbers 3, 4, 5 are very similar, and I think it is not easy to clearly separate 3, 4, 5 stages. In this stage, initial response activities involve the learner's first responses to the text. Learners are encouraged to do while reading, listening, or viewing as individual mental activities. They don't involve, this stage does not involve writing answers to questions nor discussing things in pairs or groups. Give them the activities through concise and simple instructions. In this sense, stage 5 also is about the very individual activities that require the students to think about their responses to the given text, because in this stage they read, listen, or view the text themselves, so they can think about any topics or any content or any experiences or any emotional or cognitive responses related to what they are reading or listening. So in this stage, look at the examples. The students are going to listen to a poem about a child's first day at school, and the teacher asks them, imagine that you are that child and that you are standing alone in the playground at the beginning of your first day at school. As you listen to the poem, try to see in your mind what the child could see in the playground. This is an example of the experiential activity. And the next example is that the students are going to watch the beginning of a film. And as they watch it, try to work out what the relationship is between the man and the woman who are arguing in the film. And teachers can have the students not worry if they do not understand all the words. They will get a chance to watch the scene again. So in this stage, the students start to try to put their foot or put their shoes in the first side of their content. These are the several procedures you can read and refer to for your convenience. Look at number 6. 6 is intake response activity. In this stage, students can discuss and share their feelings and opinions. So this process is an expansion or extension of what they have read or what they have listened to. The activities invite the students to reflect on the representation, but do not test the students on their comprehension of the text. Just give them a positive start by inviting them to share with others what the text means to them. So exact meaning for a translation to grasp the exact meaning of the text is not important in this stage, and the students do not need to figure out all the small words and meanings in their context. By comprehending the general meaning of the text, they can just share what they felt or what they thought with their friends or peers or with group members. The activities ask students to think about their feelings and opinions about what was said or done in the text. The activities ask students to visualize and draw or sometimes to mime what they can remember from the text. But I think these activities are can be performed in very previous stage 3 4, or 5. In this stage, the activities do not grade or criticize the students, but help them to deepen their initial responses by asking questions, by guiding them to think back to particular sections, or by feeding them extracts from the text to stimulate the further thought and discussion. So in this stage, the students can have chances to deepen their ideas and express their ideas to other persons. In this process, they can more organize what they felt and what they thought in relation to their learning content. Look at the 7. 7 is development activities. This is talking and writing in a group. So the activities provide opportunities for meaningful language production. Students in pairs or small groups go back to the text. This means that they read the text again or they listen to the text again. Because in this stage, they're going to produce some specific meanings or very exact meanings related to the text before going forward to produce something new. For example, students in groups rewrite the story. In order to rewrite the story, actually the students have to clearly comprehend the given text. So they can go back in pairs or in groups, go back to the text and read or re-listen again the text and try to comprehend the meaning of the text very specifically. And then they can rewrite the story. In this stage, through discussions and exchanging of the ideas, and sometimes through the negotiations, they can form a new story. Students sit in a circle and take it in turns to suggest the next sentence of the story. This is one of the ways to rewrite or reorganize a story. Or this can be a part of the storytelling. Students design an advertisement for it based on their language production, both on what they have already understood from the text and on connection with their own lives. This can be an interesting extension activity. Based on their comprehension of the given text, students can design an advertisement or sometimes write a letter, or they can design any internet materials, any web pages or PowerPoint materials. While talking or writing with their friends, students acquire new language and develop new skills and learn a lot from each other and also from the teacher and teacher's feedback. So in this stage, based on the exact comprehension of the text, the students reconstruct or rewrite or reorganize or sometimes make something new through the talking and the writing in pairs and in groups, which is very interactive activity. In number 8, look at number 8. 8 is input response activities. In this stage, they can grasp author intention and also focus on some linguistic awareness. Activities take students back to the text and involve them in study reading or listening tasks, aimed at helping them to make discoveries about the intentions and language of the text. In this stage, the writer used these word interpretation tasks, but the interpretation in this stage does not mean that interpreting the text based on the grammar translation. This is the process of comprehending more deeply the given text So students think more deeply about the text to make discoveries about the author's intention in creating it, developing critical and creative thinking skills in their target language. So, by comprehending the author's intentions, the students can give or present their own ideas by criticizing the author's ideas sometimes, or they can add some new and very creative ideas to the text. So, in this stage, deep questions can be used, such as what points about society do you think the writer is making in his modern version of the Little Red Riding Hood? It's very, very critical and difficult question, I think. This kind of questions, which require deep thinking processes, may not be appropriate for teaching very young learners. Debate about issues in the text or critical reviews of the text for a journal, and interviews with the characters, and interviews with the authors. Especially these two activities can be interesting and can be applied to teaching young learners. The students in groups can take a role of the characters, and they suppose they are one of the characters. And they try to comprehend, understand the character, the situations, the character's mind. They try to replace their positions. So this kind of activities can be very interesting because the answers may not be limited, and the students can imagine very different things and can produce very interesting and different ideas based on their presumption and their own experiences and their own interpretation of the text. Awareness tasks. Awareness means a gradually developing apprehension, which is different from knowledge. The awareness could be one or could be of language use, of communication strategies, of discourse features, of genre characteristics, of text type features, or of cultural norms. So in this stage, students can focus on the linguistic features of the text, but also they can focus on the characteristics of the particular genre. For example, the genre of emails or handwriting letters, or sometimes advertisement and fairy tales. These all the genres may have different characteristics or sentence styles, and some words that are used can be very, very different depending on the text types. In this stage, the students can try to recognize the features of these kind of things. Of course, the teachers can guide or help the students to figure out or to identify some differences between the different texts. The task involves investigation of a particular feature of a text plus research. To help students make focused discoveries through discrete attention to a specified feature of the text. Teachers can have students invest the cognitive and affective energy and attention in the learning process to increase the readiness for acquisition. For example, teachers can ask students to work out generalizations about a character's use of the imperative, to work out typical features of the genre of advertisement from examining the core text, and a number of other advertisements in a magazine. So in this stage, the teacher can ask their students to identify or to select some imperative sentences used by the characters in the text and help them induce some rules of the rules or the formats of the imperatives. And also, teachers can guide the students focus on the genre features of the advertisement. And then the teacher can also provide the students other advertisement in a magazine or in newspapers or sometimes on the web. Then the teacher can ask the students try to identify some common features to generalize the genre attributes. Number 9, development activities. In this stage, the students revise the product of the development activity, making use of the discoveries they have made as a result of the awareness activity. This means that in stage 7, the student produced something through talking and writing. They rewrote their stories or made an advertisement. And then in stage 8, they try to figure out the linguistic aspects or the structural or expression features of some genres. They can compare what they have done in stage 7 and what they have learned and looked through in stage 8. Then, in the next stage, 9, they can compare what they have done and what they have referenced, what they have referred. So, in this stage, for example, students revise their advertisement they have designed. After making discoveries about the language and the strategies of advertisement from an analysis of the authentic advertisement. So the advertisement they have designed is can be performed in stage 7, and making discoveries about the language and strategies for advertisement from an analysis of the authentic advertisement can be performed in stage 8. So in this stage, they can compare these two and revise what they have done.